Going, everybody. Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. Well, it is Tuesday on the show, so we have the usual to talk about here today. The Monday Night Raw show, the build towards Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania. Cody, of course, last night, and Paul Heyman had an incredible back and forth promo. But, top story today, WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler suffered a stroke on Monday and is recovering in a Florida hospital after undergoing surgery. After the break, actually, we have more details. I'm not positive it was a stroke, according to people that are close to Jerry Lawler. Florida TV station Action News 5 first reported the story, stating the 73-year-old suffered the stroke in his Fort Myers, Florida home. As of now, no further update has been given, although Dave Meltzer did tweet that Lawler is awake, but his situation is very serious. So we'll give you the latest that we know about Jerry Lawler after the break, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more news coming in throughout the day on Jerry. But he is awake. He is awake. So that's at least a positive sign. And continued best wishes to him as well as to superstar Billy Graham, who is also in very rough shape. He's lost 50 pounds in the last 3 weeks. He's got a number of health issues. So a lot to get into regarding various people health-wise today on the show. As far as other news, we've got notes on SummerSlam, SmackDown, and Rampage ratings, and plenty more. If you'd like to send us a message today, it is 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. That's the text message line. So as always, don't call. Won't do you any good. Bryan at WrestlingObserver.com is the email. I'm at Bryan Alvarez on Twitter. And after the break, more on Jerry Lawler, Wrestling Observer Live. Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. So this is the latest on Jerry Lawler, and this is from two people who are close to Jerry Lawler. This will be up on the front page here very shortly. He was found outside in the parking lot, face down, at his place in Fort Myers. They rushed him to the hospital. It has been reported that he suffered a stroke. Another person who is very close to him, who is not his son, said that it was not actually a stroke, but it was a blood blockage to the right side of his brain. His son, Kevin, is flying to Florida, and Jerry Lawler at this point is awake, and he has tried to talk, but he cannot talk at this moment, and he has no feeling on the right side of his body. So he could use all the good wishes that anyone can send out. And of course, Lawler he's had health problems on and off for, a while. Obviously, the most public was when he literally suffered a heart attack doing commentary after a match on Raw, where Dolph Ziggler dropped a series of elbows on him, and he went back to the booth, and shortly thereafter slumped over, and it was a heart attack. And he believes that the elbows were dropped by Dolph Ziggler had disrupted his heart rhythm, which is what caused the heart attack. And so he made a full recovery, obviously. And, he wrestles on and off. He's been wrestling on and off for years afterwards. Apparently, he had a really, really, really tough battle with COVID, which he recovered from. And now he has had this. So all the best to Jerry Lawler. All-time great. I don't think we need to tell you more about the history of Jerry Lawler and how great he was and how many things that he did in this business. But all the best to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully it's a long time before we talk about his entire career, because that would mean he makes a full recovery from this and he continues to roll on and bother Booker T during the WWE pre-shows. So Jerry wrestled earlier this year against the Beer City Bruiser in January. So he was still out there doing his thing for a couple minutes at a time, because people still like seeing him do his thing in Tennessee or wherever he would show up and do it. So 73 years old, whatever it is now, and he has really kept himself in very good shape. He was never a drinker, never a smoker, anything like that. And, other than that situation he had with Dolph Ziggler, I believe he may have had another stroke at some point, before this, but for the most part, always in solid condition. So hopefully he can kick out of this and pull that strap down and come back.
We had a segment last night with Paul Heyman and Cody. It was unbelievable. And as noted last night on Observer Radio, this was not a scheduled segment on the show. And in fact, what happened was, if you watched the SmackDown show on Friday, we actually talked about this a little bit yesterday. They had a SmackDown segment on Friday, and Roman Reigns came out, and the people started chanting for Sammy. And Roman Reigns said, "You know what? I don't want to talk about Sammy. I want to talk about the guy who deserves this, the guy that won the Royal Rumble, Cody." And when he said that, everybody booed. And then, they continued on with the segment, and Sammy ended up running out, and he attacked Roman Reigns and beat him up, and then he got laid out, and place was just going crazy for Sami Zayn. And it was a great angle, and it was super hot. And when it was over, they thought, well, the plan remains Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber in Montreal, and Cody versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And they obviously want the Sami Zayn Roman Reigns angle to be hot. They want it to be super hot. They want to do great business in Montreal. They want to get this story with Sammy going, and however this leads to, Sammy and Kevin against the Usos. But it was really hot. And so there was a concern that, people are going to see Roman Reigns versus Cody as secondary. And they don't want to see it as secondary. They don't want people turning on Cody. And it's not like at this point they want it to feel bigger, but what they want is it to feel as important in a different way than what's going on with Sammy. And so they called Paul Heyman, and they said, "Can you be at Raw on Monday? We need to heat this thing up." And man, oh man, did this guy heat this thing up. They did a promo segment that essentially, harkened back to Cody's memories of the year 2000, where Cody claims in the year 2000, my family was broke. We had $100 for all of us in the bank. And we were, this was shoot hard times. And he said Paul Heyman called, and Paul Heyman was running ECW. And Paul said, listen, Dusty, I need you to come out, do an angle with Steve Corino, and man, I'll make sure you're well compensated. And, not to joke about it, but I'm sure everybody thought the exact same thing, which was he went out and did the segment and then wasn't compensated. But in fact, according to Cody, was well compensated. So for the record, Dusty Rhodes may have been the only guy well compensated by ECW in the year 2000. But anyway, so Cody was never going to forget that. And, he's telling the story, and Paul's in tears. Cody's fighting back tears. And, they're talking about, how much they love each other and how close they've been over the years. And Cody even said, I was somewhere else and I was a disruptor. But it was you, Paul, that got me back here. So that's a part of the story we've never heard. And I don't doubt it for a second. But anyway, Paul, after, putting over Dusty and Cody and the family and everything, he finally says, the last conversation I ever had with your father, he told me that you, Cody, were his favorite son. And Cody hangs his head. This Cody's something else, by the way. He hangs his head, and then Paul says, but he also told me Roman Reigns is the son he wishes he had. And the crowd goes, oh, you bastard. And then Cody gets right up in his face. And of course, Paul is such a great slimy character. He goes, I'm just sending a message here. I'm just passing on a message. And Cody forces him to shake hands, and he says, you know what? I just wanted to wrestle for a pro wrestling championship, and everybody else is trying to make this personal. Well, Paul, you've made it personal, and I'm going to take this out of Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And the crowd's going crazy. I mean, it was an incredible segment. And you know what was amazing about it is it was so great. It was so great that at the beginning of the segment, Cody comes out and he makes it abundantly clear. I hear you guys. I hear you guys talking about Sami. You know what? I think Sami Zayn is going to win in Montreal. And I think it's going to be me against Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. Everyone goes, yay! And man, they go back and forth, and it's so great that at the end of this segment, I mean, there ain't no talk of Sami Zayn. He goes, I'm gonna beat Roman Reigns. I'm gonna take his belts at WrestleMania, and everybody goes nuts. So anyway, this Paul's been a Hall of Famer since I don't even know how long. Probably should have been for longer.
Long time.
He's something else. This segment was unbelievable. I added an extra syllable. It was so unbelievable. Amazing.
Great pro wrestling, what it's supposed to be. It's why this whole storyline has been so great. One of the big reasons why is Paul Heyman has done a fantastic job. And let me tell you something. Those Steve Corino, King of Old School against Dusty Rhodes matches, watch those.
Back in a moment with more Observer Live. You know, some people really don't like them Young Bucks.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I was just getting it was yesterday, the SmackDown and Rampage ratings came out. And SmackDown did great, which we'll talk about. And Rampage did not. 406,000. And .11, 18 to 49.
Ooh.
And all I
That's not
heard
good.
was, it's all those Young Bucks' fault.
Well,
They just can't draw.
well, technically, on Friday on Rampage, they can't. Can anybody? That's what we're trying to find out.
That's the point. I've been trying to explain this. Like, funny thing is, I never heard any people.
Why are you trying to explain this to
I
knuckleheads?
never heard people angry about this when, like, John Moxley was on Rampage every single week and it wasn't doing well. I'll take 30 seconds.
He's the only one who actually moves a little bit of stuff, doesn't he? Or on
Well,
Rampage,
here's
did
my
he not?
point. Here's my point. I've explained
Yes,
this
sir.
50 times. I'll explain it again.
All right.
On Rampage and on Dynamite, people want to see main eventers against main eventers, okay? That's the only thing that has been shown to really move quarter-hour numbers, is a main eventer versus a main eventer, okay? If it's Moxley versus Hangman, which was the open of Dynamite last week, it's going to do really well, okay? If you put Moxley versus Hangman on Rampage, it's going to do better than usual. Now, is it going to do 1 million? No. There's nothing that's going to have Rampage do 1 million. Nothing. That ship has sailed, okay? But, and this is nothing against Matt Hardy and Ethan Page, but
everything against Isaiah Cassidy and Stokely
Isaiah
Hathaway,
Cassidy,
Bryan Alvarez
Stokely,
can report
no. What it is the Young Bucks against a team that everybody knows are going to beat is not going to move numbers. And, you know, I love Jamie Hayter. I love Emi Sakura. But Jamie Hayter versus Emi Sakura is not going to do numbers. Okay? I love John Moxley. But you put John Moxley in there against Pretty Peter Avalon. It's not going to do well. Okay? That's just the way it is with AEW. It's always been like that. It's the same thing on Dynamite. It's just the way it is. And yeah, you know, sometimes the Young Bucks would face the House of Black in their best of 7. I'm sorry, Lucha Bros and Pac. Sometimes they would face them in the best of 7 at the end of the show, and the final quarter wasn't going to do well. And that's what happens. I mean, why do we read? Why does everyone read so much? The funny thing is, like, people get so mad about the ratings. Like, why do you talk about the ratings so much? Why do you talk about the ratings so much? Which I don't, by the way. I don't talk about them that much. But then, like, they freak out about them.
That's
over
why.
one high, one. You know what's weird, everybody? NXT. Okay, I don't even mention this, but like I see it all the time, and it always makes me laugh. NXT 2.0. Not every week, but like probably 2 out of 3 weeks. There is a random quarter that's like well over 700,000 viewers. And when I go to look at it, like, what was in this quarter? Why did this thing go to 710? It's like, well, you know, there was 2 commercials. And then there was a backstage interview with Big Body Javi. It's like, it's totally random. I laugh every time. It's just, you know, normally if you have 2 commercials during a segment, it's going to die. But, like, there'll be, like, this 9:45. It's not even top of the hour. It's, like, 9:45 on NXT. There's, like, 3 backstage interviews and 2 commercial breaks. And for some reason, it's, like, 7:10. I don't sit here and go, you know what's a draw? Commercials.
It's a relic from an older time where people wanted to throw numbers up and compare them. And I get it. Because we talk about numbers, because even though people say they don't want to talk about them, that's what gets clicks. It's like when people say, I hate WWE. Why do you talk about WWE? Why don't you talk to this person about this? And then you look at the numbers and you go, well, there's kind of why. And yes, the media as a whole You know what I mean? Can move a conversation, but when over and over again, people want to hear about ratings. They're interested in that overnight number when it comes to, okay, what's the number going to do the next day? Not the overnight number that most of the time on Fridays when it came to Rampage and SmackDown doesn't mean a whole lot, but the final number coming in, people like that, using that as a benchmark for things. So I get it, but if people want to change that, it happens one person at a time where you just don't engage with any of it, and you kind of make your voice known that doing these things week after week on a small scale without any grand look at a study of the numbers is kind of pointless week after week.
Let's keep it pointless. We'll keep it quick. Rampage did bad. 406,000 to .11. Not good. Is it the end of the world? No. Are they canceled? No. All right, that's over. Then SmackDown. 2.384 million, which was great. It was once again the in 18 to 49 the most watched thing on all of TV. Yeah, all of TV. Well, you have a TV? Well, whatever's on your TV, it was more than anything else. SmackDown. Okay? 0.61, 2.384 million. Now, you want me to go on here and go, well, it's down 6%, no one cares about Sammy and Roman? No, that'd be stupid. It did great.
Now, you know what nobody asks
moving on.
For? Nobody says anything about where are the women of wrestling. Nobody's going to be saying, man, what did MLW do on Reels? Maybe they'll do that after the first week, but then after that, that'll be about it. You notice how everybody concerned about TV ratings patterns and all that sort of stuff. It only usually sticks with two organizations.
Hey,
that's it.
You know MLW is tonight on Reels?
I heard that.
Yeah. Now, here's what I can't figure out, okay?
What?
All right. Reels is apparently like tons of homes, right?
Not really. About 50%.
No, it's like 78 million.
Well, yeah, but that's only like 75% of homes, maybe at best. Look, it's not in
well compared to B in sports. It's in a lot of homes.
Yeah, but you know what? To be honest with you, I switched to YouTube TV.
Well, that's my point.
Still there.
I got YouTube
Access
TV.
is there.
I got YouTube TV, and I got Sling TV because I need a backup. No Reels. Where is Reels? What is Reels on?
Well, it's on Xfinity.
It is?
Look, yeah, it's got
Okay.
good. Look, it has. I've always had Reels from the time I guess it started, and it's split. And Ovation is a sister channel of it, and all this other stuff. But it's not in a ton of homes, but it is in more homes than Access. So, and here's the thing. Look, I don't like most of the programming that I've seen on Reels. I think a lot of it is exploitive. It's nonsense. It's Cops reruns. It's On Patrol Live, that sort of thing. But On Patrol Live has been a huge boom for them since it moved over, and it has gotten a lot of eyeballs. The autopsy shows, for as wacky and as nasty as they can sometimes be, apparently has gotten a following. So they did this big switch with the station. This is what they're doing. In a way, if you're thinking about this from a Vice kind of point of view, which in a way, I guess they're kind of closest to that more than anything else, well, MLW or some sort of wrestling probably does fit on there for right now. Will it stay on there? Will it do well? I don't know, but it's not a bad fit.
68.2 million homes have Reels. 68.2. And I have 2 streaming services.
Yeah, but
I can't find
how
it.
many households are there with 220 million or something like that? So,
Well, 58% of households with at least one television set in the entire country have Reels. 58% in the entire country.
But you know what? But Brian, that's like a lot of the Sinclair stuff locally where it was like they have great coverage in some ways, but if you don't have New York carrying you or DC or you're missing out on big cable companies, then that number becomes really, really deceptive.
Well, I'm just wondering why I don't get it.
Because they want to spite you.
No, that's not why. I'm saying
Okay, who's your local cable?
I don't have local cable.
Yes, you do. You just don't buy it. Who is it?
I couldn't even tell you because I haven't got cable in a long time.
Who's your internet? Do they offer your cable? Is it Cox?
I think it's called Ziply. What's so funny?
Ziply?
Hey, you know what, bruh? I have had less problems with Ziply Fiber than any.
Oh,
than
Ziply
Comcast,
Fiber. I'm talking about a cable
Frontier, What are the other ones? I've had nothing
That's
but
because
problems
it's fiber optics.
with all of those over the years. Now I got
'cause it's fiber
Ziply.
optics.
You know what happens when I have a problem with Ziply? You know what happens when I have a problem with Ziply?
What's that?
I don't know. I've never had a problem.
Yeah, how much you pay?
I don't know.
How much do you pay? Because they offer.
I'm rich. You think I look at my bills?
Yeah, I was going to say Xfinity offered
I don't know how
me
much it is.
business internet for fiber. They're first-time fibers in this area. They're offering it to businesses. They came at me. It was like pushing $1,000.
Hey,
a month.
according to Dagan,
thank
sorry to
you.
interrupt, Dutch Mantel just tweeted, Jerry Lawler's, quote, latest condition is actually good, and he is expected to recover. Good news.
Pull the strap down. You can't stop the king. I'll be damned. Good news there. Jerry the King Lawler. Good for him.
Excellent.
Awesome.
See, guys,
Good.
I joke about being rich and everything like that, but here's the thing with spending money. Like, no, I don't know how much I pay for Ziply because
Yeah,
at the
because
end
you write it off on your taxes.
no,
You
at the
don't
end of the
care.
day, I have to have it. Like, there's no option. It's not like, well, you know, if it's $70 a month, I'm gonna not. I have to get it. There's no option. I mean, yeah, I could get Comcast. Well, you want to not have a show? You want the show to be off the air 3 days out of 5?
Yeah, tell me about it.
I gotta have Ziply. They never
it.
screw up. It's the only thing I've ever paid for that's been perfect. Back in a
that one
moment
girl
with
that one
Rob, Observer Live. you blokes just don't get it. I remember when Tim Flowers would say that in a much more lewd manner. Some of you blokes just don't get it. Hey, Dom, why don't you tell everybody the other two options for cable here in my area? You looked it up.
Oh, the top two providers in your area, Brian, were Comcast, Xfinity, and Frontier Fiber.
Comcast, Xfinity, and Frontier Fiber. Bro, I'd get another job if I had to pay for Ziply. Like, I ain't doing... There's no way I'm getting Frontier. And I sure as heck are not getting Comcast. The two dirt worst internet providers I've ever experienced in my lifetime. You know my upload and download speed here with the Ziply Fiber?
What is it?
I should be getting paid for this.
What is it?
Right now, at this moment, 828 up and 928 down.
828 up?
I'm live streaming here in 1080p.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I got Twitch up, I got YouTube up.
Yeah, $275 a month over here for a
Jared here noting I'm using a lot of it right now. Yeah, and I still got 828 up and or down and 928 up. Yeah, what did I have in
9 and 30?
What did I have in San Francisco where Dom lives? Huh? Yeah, I had a 0.5 upload. 0.5.
Excuse me, Mr. Gilded Community. How, not everyone has multiple fiber optics options, let alone even fiber optics running to their home. You have all of these providers. Many people are stuck.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I don't have to use Frontier or Comcast.
Many a show.
I hope Comcast goes the way of Pan Am, Mike. Which was dissolved the year Dom was born.
A long time ago.
God. All right, let's do this.
Let's go.
I think it's the other way around, DJ. You're 500 down, 20 up. You're not 500 up, 20 down.
No.
That can't be right. It's got to be the other way around.
Right.
I mean, it is Comcast, so it's possible that's what they're giving him.
Well, that's happened a couple times with me when it's been 35 down and 35 up, but yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, he says you're right. The thing is, with the stuff that I bring on the road, like I could literally do a show no problem. All I need is 5 up, and I could do a show no problem. I couldn't even get 5 up. 5!
Need some more Never mind.
Okay. So the Raw show opened up with a big angle. Edge, Beth, Judgment Day, Dom, where Beth gave Dom the, whatever they call it now. I don't think you're allowed to call it what they used to call it. And she laid him out. And it's setting up a mixed tag at the pay-per-view, which is Edge and Beth Phoenix against Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor. So we knew it was coming. And that should be a fun match. Then Judgment Day attacked, and poor Dom got glam slammed. I love Dom. He's just the greatest heel gimmick. Then we had Damian Priest beating Angelo Dawkins. Elimination Chamber qualifier. Damian Priest beat him clean. He is going to the Elimination Chamber. Got 12 minutes, and it was a good match. And not much else to say about it other than that. Just keep it simple, right? Maximum Male Models and Maxine Dupree signed contracts with, I was just thinking. I got something I've been waiting to do, but this person hasn't bit yet. But it's coming. It's coming. And it's not you. And then they had a show-long storyline where Chelsea is being all annoying to Adam Pearce. She wants a match. She wants this chocolate, that chocolate.
Queen Karen.
Then, some things are a lot better with Triple H. And, I've followed this guy's Instagram, Baron Corbin. And honest to God, I think we'd really get along. I think we'd get along great in real life. But it's not real life. I'm a reporter and he's a wrestler. And so he's already blocked me on Twitter. I must have said something he didn't like. Maybe he can block JBL next. But anyway, Baron Corbin faces Dexter Lumis. As God Almighty is my witness, they had 3 minutes and 10 seconds, okay? 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Baron Corbin put this dude, again, I swear to God, three chin locks in this match. It's 3 minutes, and you did 3 chin locks. I hate chin locks, okay? I mean, you got 15 minutes, you got 3 chin locks, I'm still irritated. You had 3 minutes. An average of a chin lock every minute. Then Dexter beats him. And they cut to JBL, and he just hangs his head and he walks out. And then later, they go backstage, and Corbin wants to go dancing or something, I don't know. Eat some meat. And JBL goes, brother, there ain't no us. Dude, you have absolute, total, channel-changing heat. You're a loser. You can't win. You suck. You're tainting my Hall of Fame legacy. I'm out of here. And he leaves.
Well, that's not true. Because Baron Corbin said, wait, I can change. I swear I can change. And JBL said, you can't polish a turd. And then he left.
I mean, did they make him do 3 chin locks to make me, like, side with JBL? Or, like, what happened here?
Maybe that was the point. Maybe
what
just
in
have the
God's
worst
name?
possible thing you can have, so JBL is just extra disgusted.
Do you know how many gimmicks Baron Corbin has had? Do you know how many times they've given him a makeover?
That's it. Maybe he'll be in NXT next.
God. Then we had Lesnar and Lashley segment. Lesnar comes out. And, like, dude, he has a thick Southern accent.
Yeah, he's a sharecropper.
He has a thick Southern accent now. But it's funny. He only has that thick Southern accent when he's being a good guy and he's talking to the fans. But, man, when he gets mad, he drops that accent.
Yeah.
And then out comes old Lashley.
I hope Lashley kills him.
Wow.
Take that feather off and shove it right up Brock's country rear end.
Wow. You know, there's
He's not my baby face.
a couple people I have maybe heat with in this business, but it ain't Brock. Nor would I like it to be.
Wait a second. I'm not saying I have heat with Brock. Bobby's got heat with Brock.
Oh, you got heat with him now.
Bobby.
You just asked for Bobby to shove that feather up his
right up his South Dakota, not Texas rear end.
Well, yeah. Lashley has a contract for a match, and or Lesnar does, and Lashley basically says, dude, this is on my terms. Like, I beat you the first time, I laid you out the second time, and I just tossed you out of that Royal Rumble. This is on my terms. So Lesnar grabs him, F5s him, crowd chants one more time, he does it again. Next week, they have a contract signing, if Lashley's going to give him the match. And man, if I'm Lashley, this guy's jumping through some hoops. That's what I say.
Yeah, and somebody's going through a table, I have a feeling, as well.
Carmella won a 4-way to enter the Elimination Chamber. She did virtually nothing in this match. A lot of running, a lot of fleeing. I mean, the best person in the match by miles was Piper Niven. But she didn't win. Carmella's in. So good for her. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander have reunited with MVP. And they face the Alpha Academy. 5-minute match. It was good. And they won. Clean. They hit the lumbar check on Chad Gable after he missed a moonsault. Pinned him. And MVP is so excited he almost killed himself getting in the ring. He's got a bad wheel. And he slips on the apron, almost falls off and kills himself. And gets back in the ring. Holds up their hands. They're winners. More to come. We had a goofy segment. You know one great thing about Triple H that no one has mentioned? Triple H has positioned Miz as a mid-card geek. He's not a main eventer. He's not out there, trying to be a tough guy. He's literally a mid-card geek who makes a geek out of himself, gets some heat here and there, and then gets beat up.
Hasn't he been that way for a couple years?
No, he won the title like 2 years ago, dude. He was the champion. Yeah.
Who'd he beat? Kofi? No, he wasn't Kofi. He was Brock. Who the hell was it?
And then, so she's interviewing him, and out comes old Boogs, who's just, what a gimmick. He's all boogsed out, and Miz makes fun of him for beating him in a suit, and he's making fun of Pierce for being an incompetent official. And, of course, Pierce is right there, so he goes, well, get your gear on. Next week, see you and Boogs. One-on-one.
There seems to be a lot of, nostalgia for the 80s and 90s. You think that'll be the best thing that can help get Boogs over? Because I don't know if Rick Boogs, although he looks straight out of the 80s, as a swolled-up guy there, but I don't know what else this guy has. Because before he had Nakamura, what else is he right now? What is he?
I can't believe the people that will not give Triple H a chance. Lenny goes, so we're giving Triple H props for making Miz what he has always been. Yes! Yes, we are! Absolutely, positively, unequivocally, yes! Brother, he shouldn't be a main eventer. He shouldn't be winning the championship.
No.
He should not be in that position.
No.
So if the other guy was putting him in that position and the new guy isn't, yes, he's getting credit for that. Golly. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, he deserves credit for that. Golly.
Breathe.
Asuka's back. She kills Chelsea Green. You know what? If Vince McMahon didn't do anything with Asuka, and we never saw her, and she was always booked as a loser, and then the new booker pushes her to the moon, yeah, I'm afraid he deserves credit for that. For doing what they always should have done. Yes, that is deserving of credit. We had the Cody segment. It was awesome. Montez beat Elias. 10 minutes they gave him. That's fine.
Hey, look,
Montez beat him
want
clean.
Montez to go 30 one day. So.
And then the main event was the match we never got. Becky Lynch and Bayley in a cage. And, Io Sky tried to interfere. Dakota's out there as well, but she's on crutches because she has some sort of allegedly minor knee injury. And they had a good match. And then, as noted, Io comes out. And who should make the save? But for reasons I can't explain.
It's Mania season.
Lita.
Sure.
She just happened to be in town.
Well.
And she ran down and she made the save. And she ends up slamming the cage door on Wee Bailey, and then Becky at the manhandle slam pinned her. And then, Becky and Lita celebrated, and they got their main event, and all was right with the world.
That's Legends deal going, Lita's got.
Back in a moment with more Observer Live.
You should have came back with Pavements Cut Your Hair.
Man, no one even noticed. It's way better today than it was yesterday. Got fixed.
How much that cost you?
Everybody made fun of the haircut yesterday. Then it gets fixed, and this guy goes, "Looked better yesterday." No, actually, it didn't. I was ridiculed by my wife.
Damn.
I was ridiculed, and I was not just ridiculed. My wife is polite, and so she didn't say anything until I mentioned, "Man, look at my hair." She goes, "Well, I'm going to say anything, but what's up with your hair?" And then I read some of the comments from the chat, and she laughed and laughed. I said, "That's not very nice. That's not very nice to laugh at people making fun of me." And she goes, "Why? That's your gimmick." That's what she said to me.
That's a
and
good
then
point.
I was eating dinner, and Hazel
Hope
looks
she's
up to me
spitting
and she goes, "What happened to your head, Daddy?" I said, "What?" She goes, "Your head. Like, there used to be hair there."
See that? See that? You reap what you sow. Be careful around those kids.
It's not that bad.
Uh-huh.
Guys, you don't understand. It's because I've been doing video for only 3 years. You guys don't get it. If you think this is a bad haircut, I don't know what to tell you.
Can we go through the history of Brian's hair just since the beginning of this website, let alone before it?
This is like the pinnacle of my haircuts.
We've had braids back from vacation. We've had color in it.
No, I wish I had the braids back.
You had just the flop down here in the front, the rest of it shaved back in the day. I mean, you've had a multitude of different
I
hairstyles,
sure have.
different coiffs here on the show.
Yes. Hey, speaking of hairdos, Lance doesn't have one. He's bald. Well, he's going to be up in an hour talking all sorts of different things, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So check it out. Video.f4wonline.com, WrestlingObserver.com, 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern, live on the site for subscribers afterwards. And we'll be back in tomorrow. Best wishes, Jerry Lawler, Wrestling Observer Live.